out of the country and then come back. So in a place like Taiwan, that means the airport, right? In places like Canada, where you know how, this is, okay, Canada and the States, right? We don't need that part there. So, in Canada and the States, we have a very long area, a long border. This is called a border, where we can go from one country to the other very easily. But because we go from one country to the other, there are places where we can buy things for no tax. So in some places like this, it's very easy to go to a duty-free store. But the government knows that, so they try to make it harder, right? They want their money. So what happens in places like this is a lot of times you can go across the border and you can buy something very cheaply, then you can go back home again, right? And because the border is so long, it's hard for them to make sure that people aren't doing that. So what people here often used to do for gasoline for your car, right? Sometimes gas would be cheaper in the States. So people who live here, they would drive their car until there's no gas, and then they would go down into the States and fill their tank. And then they would go back to Canada. And they would save a lot of money. But if you try to buy, a big tank of gas and you try to carry it back, then the government will say, okay, you have to pay tax. So a big part of going to another country is about the taxes, right? But because they check anyway, if you drive your car across, they have dogs, right, that can smell for drugs. They have police officers who can, look for problems. And in the airport, it's really easy. Everybody has to go one at a time, and they check all of your bags. It's easy here to look for those other things. So at customs, you have to sign a piece of paper and say, I don't have any weapons, no guns, I don't have any drugs, I don't have, too much money. There's a list of questions they ask, right? But then they also look in your bags, right? What do they look for? What are the things you're not allowed to bring? Things like guns, What else are you not allowed to bring with you that they look for? Drugs. Medicine, if it's only medicine for you, and you have a piece of paper from the doctor, then no problem, right? But if it's something you want to sell to somebody else, then they usually count it as drugs. Okay, what else? Yeah, why are you not allowed to bring water? Right.
Food.
Okay, you're not allowed to bring food. Why not food?
Beef.
Okay, why not beef? Yeah. So what they're looking for, right? We can look at it as the problems they're looking for. So what they want to find are things that can be dangerous, right? So now they often use the word dangerous items, right? Things that could be dangerous to other people. So things like a gun or a knife, right? Or even, you know, probably something like this could be dangerous on the, you know. They're getting very stupid about it, honestly. But yeah, scissors, anything with a blade, yeah. So there's dangerous things, right? You might see the word contraband. Contraband refers to all of the things that you're not allowed to buy or sell. Usually it's things like drugs. Sometimes it's also guns or weapons like that. But anything where the government says you're not allowed to buy or sell it, okay, is contraband. But then there's also things like the beef from China or from Africa. Why? Okay, because their animals got sick and we don't want to bring that to another country. So we have the idea of disease, right? Now, because they have to be very strict about the rules, our laws are not used, they don't use German words. Whenever we have words for the law, what the police say or do, or when we say that this is something, right? We can't use the simple German words in English because their meaning is too small. They're not helpful enough. So we use, again, words that are from Latin or from Greek. So we have the word infection. And infection is like a disease, but it's not always something that you eat. If you rub your eyes too much and they get red, right? That can be an infection. Or you know children love to pick their noses, right? And then that can cause an infection. If you get a cut, right, and it gets dirty, then you can have an infection. These are all different ways that your body can get sick from something. So what they do is they talk about infectious agents. Now this word you know. What's an agent? Who's the person who helps you buy a ticket? The person who helps you go to another country. Who's the person who helps your parents to buy the tickets? The person who plans it out and says, you know, for this much money, here's your ticket on the airplane, and you can stay in a hotel, and then you go on the bus, you go to this city, and the person who makes all of that happen. It's a very popular job in Taiwan. Travel agent. Okay. A travel agent is a person who helps you to make those plans, right? Because the travel agent, his job is to know things about the other country. So he can tell you, this is a good hotel, you know, this is not a good one. This person can make plans for you. You go to this city, you go to this restaurant, then you can go to this museum, and the next day you go on this bus or this train, you go to another place, right? There are a lot of travel agents in Taiwan, even just to help people buy train tickets. Did you ever try to buy train tickets? No? If you want to go somewhere for a long weekend, it's really hard to buy tickets because these people buy them all and then they sell them to other people. And it should be illegal, but yeah, it's what they do. So a travel agent is a person who helps you travel. We also have people who sell insurance, you know, like health insurance. Insurance, I forget the word for that. This is money so that you pay the money every year, and that way if you get sick, then they give you the money back. Yeah, I think so. So, in Taiwan there are a lot of insurance agents, okay? If it's a place where where these people work, you might see the word agency. This is the name of the place, this is the name of the person, okay? But we use this here to talk about anyone or anything that does that kind of job. So at the airport, when they ask about an infectious agent, they mean anything that